Good evening and welcome to this January 26, 2026 meeting of the Lake Bluff Village Board of Trustees. The clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Esramaz?
Present.
Trustee Fisher?
Here.
Trustee Hatch?
Here.
Trustee Brenner?
Here.
Trustee Ryder?
Here.
Thank you. Please stand and join me in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Next is an award, and we are proud to recognize today the introduction of new Lake Bluff volunteer firefighters. I will stand with you.
Nice to see you. How are you? I'm good. Guys, you'll stand up. Thank you. Our graduates from the Academy of 2025, I'm going to have one of my instructors here introduce them and give you a little synopsis of the program that we have going here and how successful it is. Thank you. Joe McKay.
Thanks. So I wanted to just take a quick second. We did a graduation ceremony, a big one over at the station for these guys, but this is really nice to feel part of the community, to have them be recognized as part of the community. So thank you to the village board. Obviously, I know Drew works very close with the chief and our leadership, but also our officers, our mentors, the other blue shirt firefighters. It takes a lot to get these guys through a program. They do about 200 hours of work, 28 chapters, 1,000 pages. They start with boring stuff like the history of the fire service and personal protective equipment and safety. And then we get into the more fun stuff of cutting open cars and, rescuing dummies out of burning buildings and live fire and things like that. So we do, according to the other people in the area, this is an exemplary program. We give what the state offers as a $6,000 class. We give you that education for free as long as you give back to the community. And it's an incredible community that supplies us with everything we could possibly need. So our doors are always open whenever people walk by with kids and whatnot. It's, hey, come on in, see the fire truck. The kids' faces light up. Mom, dad's faces light up. Hey, it's your tax dollars hard at work. You give us everything we could ask for. This is your stuff. So continuing that tradition, we've got a whole new crop of guys. This was our first class where we didn't lose about half of the guys. They start with an interview with me and Captain Holston where we try and scare them away. Are you afraid of heights? Are you claustrophobic? Well, we're going to find out. We're going to poke you and figure out what you're afraid of. And these guys, we usually lose about 40 to 50% of the class, and we lost one to injury and one to personal situation. So these guys have been through a lot, done a lot. The support from the community, the support from inside the station, support from loved ones, which they didn't bring. Hopefully they see us on public access. But it continues. So today culminates the first phase, and on into your careers, you'll keep learning and keep giving back to the community. But I, for one, am very proud of everything you guys have done, and I'm happy to welcome you to the Brotherhood. So if we want to read names, I'm not sure if you want them to come up or just wave their arm. Okay, you guys are coming up now. So first we got Brody Rogers.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Congratulations. And Alan Hernandez.
Congratulations.
Daniel Pass.
Congratulations.
Marvin Simonamian. That's what I said.
Congratulations.
TJ.
Andres Mendez,
Andre, congratulations.
Thank you.
and Connor Mangiano. So we did have two, Sabrina and TJ actually were called into work tonight, so they weren't able to make it. So we do have 8. Of a department of 50, 8 is a big number to add, so we're glad to have you guys.
Welcome.
Thank you very much. Welcome.
I guess you gotta start somewhere. That's right. I'm not gonna argue.
No.
Next on our agenda are the considerations of the minutes of the January 12, 2026 Village Board meeting. Is there a motion to approve these minutes?
So moved?
Second.
Thank you. Are there any comments, changes, typos in those minutes? Nope. It's a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? And the motion carries. Thank you very much. Next is our non-agenda item and visitors. The village president and board of trustees allocates 15 minutes for those individuals who would like the opportunity to address the village board of trustees on any matter not listed on the agenda. Each person addressing the village board of trustees is asked to limit their comments to a maximum of 5 minutes. And as you approach the lectern, please state your name and your address. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's an important job.
Hi, good evening. I'm Katie Riley-Govin. I'm at 112 East North Avenue, and I'm here with my fellow neighbors. Nick Anderson, 100 East North, right? Brian? Okay, but I don't know your. 117 East North. 117?
Thank you.
So we wanted to raise a safety, what we believe is a safety concern and issue with regard to the flow of traffic, the wrong way flow of traffic down Oak Avenue, along with the intersection of Oak and Scranton, which we believe over the past few years since we've lived here, as well as I can speak on behalf of my neighbors here, agree that there are safety hazards that are consistently happening that we want to bring to your attention. There's a consistent flow of wrong-way traffic that is occurring along Oak Avenue. It's been happening over the course of as long as we lived here for a few years now, but it's increased certainly with the construction that's occurring right now, with a number of the construction vehicles that are going wrong way in the early hours of the morning. In addition to that, the intersection of Oak and Scranton now presents a more significant hazard with the volume of traffic that goes down Scranton, in addition to the traffic that is parked along the side. So it makes it very difficult to approach that intersection and move forward through that intersection, where a number of us have had occurrences where we've nearly been T-boned. I, for one, this morning was nearly T-boned. If it had been slippery, they would have hit my car. So we wanted to bring this to the attention. I have Nick and Brian who will also comment, and we've provided some handouts with regard to some of the photographs and the drawings that you can see for the purpose of conversation.
Thank you, Katie. And again, I'm Nick Anderson at 100 East North. This is a shared sort of personal experience of all the residents along North Avenue here. There's probably 12 of us that are all in a row. So we all kind of have been experiencing this issue. But I think, again, the confluence of the construction activity sort of has brought it to like a fevered pitch where we felt like we'd want to come to the board. The handout that we distributed sort of shows these conditions. Obviously, we're very familiar with driving this every day. But the issue is sort of created because of lack of a line of sight. You have the pedestrian curb bump outs that pull the sidewalk pretty significantly into Scranton. And then the stop sign is pulled way back, as you can see here. So if you're to stop at the stop sign and then proceed through, you have to stop a second time before you then cross Scranton because there's so much travel distance to check that a car is not, coming either way. And then by that time, when you go through the intersection, you sort of have to quickly recheck that there's not a pedestrian that's decided to cross between Bluffington's and the public library. So it is a very catty-wonk condition. And we think it's easily remedied with better signage and adding stop signs running east-west. From a city planning perspective, this is also sort of the main pedestrian and bike thoroughfare for all the residents north of town, because you have the main bike path that links to Artesian and the middle school. And there's also a sidewalk cut through north of North Avenue. So that's sort of the natural traffic flow for people to walk through Scranton here. And it's sort of a little confusing to all of us that we really have this sort of unnecessarily dangerous condition, especially across the street from the public library. So thank you for your time.
Thank you, Nick.
You guys, how you doing? I think Nick and Katie did an excellent job just giving this to you in a nutshell, but I guess I can ask this in a question with, because I know Altunian has a bunch of plans for that block in regards to streetscape and whatnot. And, I do think that there's an easy way to maybe just remedy this in the meantime, maybe with some stop signs, or we have one of the one-way signs that's sort of bent and it's hard to see that this is a one-way street. But I'm just curious if you guys know if Altunian has any plans for remedying that particular intersection.
We're listening to your comments. We're not going to
Oh,
answer.
no
Okay.
questions.
Thank
Okay,
you.
my apologies. Well,
Oh, no.
they did a great job, but, I'm here with them expressing the same concern.
Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot.
I want to add one thing. When we,
Ron, can you state your name?
Ron Govin, 112 East North Avenue. When we first moved in, I was situated working, 8 to 10 hours a day looking at Oak. And I will tell you, the wrong way drivers are multiple times a day, consistently. This is not an occasional issue. With the construction workers now, just the other day, I was walking down, coming back from the library area with my dogs, and between the library and coming to North Avenue, 3 different vehicles were going the wrong way. And I spoke to each one of them, and I can tell you right now, they didn't give a damn. They did not care one bit, and I've seen a couple of them do it multiple times when I'm walking the dogs in the morning, because it's right around 6:30, 7 o'clock when they're showing up. But this is not just construction related. That has made it a lot worse. But I literally mean, I see it multiple times a day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Brian, I have a quick follow-up question. I want to make sure I understand what your question is about Altunian and the street. Could you just say it again?
Yeah,
maybe
I'm just
slower for me?
curious if Altunian has any, I would say, plans for redoing that intersection, because I do believe, from what I've heard and what I've seen, some of it, that some of that streetscape on Scranton is, they're going to do some things to it. I don't know how much they're going to alter it or not, but yeah, that's, and by the way, yeah, I mean, we live right on Oak, so I mean, we see this happen all the time out of our window. I mean, my wife's always like, oh, that car's going down the wrong way, but yeah, that's what I mean by my question.
Can I ask you what you mean by that? What do you mean by Altunian redoing the intersection? What does that mean?
The streetscape along Scranton in front of the building.
Okay.
On both ends. From
Got
what
it.
I understand, there are plans to be altering that. I don't know how, but
Line of sight issues.
what?
Creating line of sight. more
Yeah,
line of
maybe
sight.
maybe creating more line of sight issues if they're going to be doing something like that to remedy what we're talking about.
I understand your question now.
Yeah,
Thanks.
got it. Thanks.
I can answer it really quickly if you'd like.
Please.
So the short answer is their plan as part of their improvements will essentially reduce the pedestrian crossing time by adding the bump outs at the intersection where East Scranton crosses right there in front of their building and the library. So there'll be a bump out there to shorten the pedestrian time that they spend time in the street.
Got it.
And that's by design, by engineers for safety purposes.
Got it. Any new signage?
There was no plans to put any stop signs.
Okay. Might be something to consider, but I'm not an engineer by any means, but
Yeah, the village has a process to consider, go through and examine types of requests like this for stop signs
Understood.
or other traffic control devices. We'll we'll forward that and be in touch. I know how to reach Nick and we'll.
I mean, the consideration is on high traffic, occurs, times of the day, and certainly during the summer months, there's a lot of volume of traffic that goes through that intersection, and I've seen a number of cars, having difficulty getting out of that intersection. So we appreciate the consideration.
Thank you very much. Thank you,
Thank you.
Katie,
Thank
Nick,
you.
Brian, and Ron. Any more non-agenda items? No, thank you very much. Moving forward, the village board sets the order of a meeting. Do we have any items today that should be considered first?
You can go to my report if you want.
Any objections going to Drew's report first?
No.
You got
All right.
somewhere to be?
No.
So without any objections, let's move on to item 8, Drew's report.
And this is the report of the 125 committee. Mr. Dewart and Mrs. O'Hara.
Times
would you-
2.
I'm sorry?
250.
What did I say?
125. Well, I thought you said
100 short. Sorry.
No, 120.
125. Okay.
I'm missing.
125
Sorry.
and 125.
250. Yes, sorry.
Nothing changes.
Wow, I walked into that one, didn't I? Yeah. Let's see here. I'm sorry, I'm loading the program. Tough crowd. You know what? For some reason, I'm having some Zoom problems. Thank you. So bear with me 1 minute, folks. Maybe, I don't know if you want to come back to this really quick.
Okay. We could go next to the village finance report before that. And so let's move on with item 7A. That would be our warrants report for January 13 to January 26, 2026. Could I please have a motion to approve the warrants report?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Thank you. And our warrants report tonight is for expenditure of village funds for payments of invoices in the amount of $870,739.34 for January 13 to January 26, 2026. Are there any questions to Bettina and or Drew from the board?
I had a couple of questions on the warrant report that didn't ask before, but the ambulance calls that's reflected on page, what page that is, I'm sorry. It's Bender, Lake Forest City, City of Lake Forest, ambulance calls, it's 1 quarter in the first line and then quarter 2 in the second line. And what dictates those numbers? Is it the number of calls determines how much we pay each quarter, or is it a set amount
No,
each quarter?
so it's based on call volume. They provide reporting that goes to the fire department, who approves that before we make payment.
I see.
And without that, without that approval, the payments wouldn't go through. There are 2 on this warrant because I didn't get the other invoice timely. There was a quirk with it, so we had 2 of them on one warrant.
I see, you have 2 quarters
2
on
quarters.
one,
Typically, you'd only see 1 quarter.
and it's fiscal year 26, quarter 1 and quarter 2, I
Two,
see.
Right. Mhm.
Okay, yeah, that was my question on that one. That's the only question I had, thanks.
Sure.
I've looked at all I've read the ledger and do not have additional questions compared to that ambulance second line item. Any more questions to Bettina? It is a voice vote. Clerk, please call the roll. It's a roll call. All right, it's a roll call. It's a voice vote.
Roll call.
Roll call. I said roll call.
Trustee Eshelmas.
Aye.
Trustee Fisher.
Aye.
Trustee Hatch.
Aye.
Trustee Renner.
Aye.
And Trustee Ryder.
Aye.
Thank you. Next, Let's take the finance report. Bettina, would you mind?
Sure. Included in the report were the financials for December. December fiscal year 26 sales tax revenue came in at $391,166, which represents a 14.2% year-over-year increase. So this strong monthly performance supports continued annualized growth of 8.3%. Year-to-date general fund revenues reached $11,254,456, reflecting a $473,812 or 4.4% increase over the same period from fiscal year 25. Year-to-date expenditures total $9,948,876, reflecting a $1,369,995 increase over fiscal year 25. Spending levels remain aligned with budgeting and operational activity.
Thank you. I think this report follows actually the report Drew gave to the Chamber of Commerce a couple of weeks ago, where Drew had presented our sales tax figure, and this report has also our general figures. We're doing well as a community. It's better than last year. It's better than the years before, and so we're doing great. Drew?
Yes, agree. Yeah, it's amazing that's continued. Each year is a new all-time peak, so it's impressive, and hopefully it continues, although it's unlikely.
It's good because we have to pay 4 pipes, so
Right.
we're all good. Thank you so much. Anything else?
Question.
Rafi?
Bettina, hi, how are you?
Hey, good, how are you?
Almost every year that we have data available, we've seen a decrease in sales tax revenue from November to December. Why do you think the increase this year?
So this is in arrears, so the sales tax revenue receipts are for December, but they're reflective of October sales.
Okay.
So you're probably seeing it ramp up because of the holidays.
But
would
in
be my
every other
guess.
comparable year, we've seen a decrease, except for this year, according to that graph that you provided us.
On page 4 of 17.
I mean, I can't point to a specific, once the category sales tax commercial SIC data comes out, which is always like a whole
Okay.
quarter in arrears, we could look at more of what categories had increased in sales.
I'm trying to find out what we're doing right and how can we do more of it.
Right. I don't know, I can look into it once I get that data and give you more specifics. If I had to guess, I'd say it was auto sales, just because that's the primary factor in all of this. But holidays do affect as well.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you. Any more questions to Bettina? It is a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Thank you, and the motion carries. Thank you, Bettina.
Sure.
Next would be our village administrator's report.
I think now we can do it, but we're doing it from afar, so you just have to say, next slide, please, so apologies. We'll do that. Okay. So trying again, we have the 250th. See how much quickly I've learned? This is the USA 250 Committee. The co-chairs, Mr. Mark Dewart and Kathy O'Hara, are here to present to the board the amazing work been done so far to celebrate America's 250th.
We thank you for having us this evening. It's nice to be back, I guess. Okay, we are celebrating 250th Lake Bluff style, and that's on purpose. We are definitely celebrating our 250 years as a country, but we are also celebrating the 250 years our community has been around and how we have reflected on those 250 years, how we have prospered and grown and contributed to the national interests. So we will do it Lake Bluff style, okay? Before I go, I'd also like to recognize several of our other members are here. Nan, Max, Bill. Okay, did I leave anybody out? Okay, no. Okay, would you go on to the next slide? What we're going to do is celebrate this 250th because we have done that for such a long time. My co-chair here says Lake Bluff loves to have a party, and that is true. And we started way back in 1876, which was the first year of the Lake Bluff Camp meeting. And it just had gotten started, and it was July, and it was the 100th anniversary of the United States. So somehow, those gentlemen that ran the camp meeting had enough clout to get the governor of Illinois to come to us. It couldn't come over the 4th. There were some problems. And he was here on July 21st with a big parade. Have you ever wondered why we have a boulevard street? Centenary Avenue, which is what it was called, shortened to Center now. But that was built and designed totally for the parade, led by the governor of Illinois, which for us, since we were only 2 weeks old as a camp meeting, Summer Chautauqua was quite a coup. And that kind of led the whole thing. For the 200th anniversary in 1976, I bet I was the only one here. In 1976, I was a teacher. And the gazebo was built in honor of the first gazebo that was built during the camp meeting, which was over on Lake Park, which is now Sunrise Park. And so this was a reasonable replica that was built from donated funds over there. There were other sorts of events that went on. The schools did some things, or other community things, so it was quite a little celebration. And in 1995, Lake Bluff celebrates the 100th anniversary of being incorporated. And as a result, money was raised, and over a period, I think, of 2 years, the Village Hall Tower was replaced. It had been taken down in 1934 because it was the middle of the Depression. Nobody had any money to fix it, and it was disintegrating. And it was rebuilt. Community photo, I don't know if anyone has ever seen. We have the huge photo in the museum. Everybody in town was invited. We hope we can replicate that, I think. Everyone was invited to stand up somewhere in front and spell out into the street, Village Hall. We had a cherry picker come in and do it. I think you could do it by drone now.
Yes.
Do that. And people still come by to see if they can find themselves in that. It was quite the deal that we had. So we had all sorts of events at that time. We had a huge birthday cake, which had been designed by the Sara Lee Corporation because Mr. Bryan, who was the chairman of Sara Lee, lived and owned Crabtree Farm. So we had just all sorts of things. Huge parade, of which it poured. It was a lot of fun. And of course, we had celebrated the 125th. Year-long celebration. We had the dogs on the bluff. We had community art, different gardens. The garden club did a garden. And there was, of course, the birthday bash. So now we're ready to celebrate the 250. And I think Mark is just going to tell us a little bit about that.
Okay. Well, it's good to be back. Not too good, Brian. So we'll go to the next slide. So leading off, we were really, really excited that Elko Mutual has offered to be the principal sponsor for the event. And they will enable us to well publicize and get the word out and share all of what we're doing with the greater community. And we're very indebted to them. They were very instrumental in supporting our birthday bash and the subsequent birthday parties. They enabled the fireworks for that, you may recall. So Elko has become a really strong community partner for us. And we'll go to the next slide. So when we decided to do this project, and we decided that we wanted to make this a community event, a community party, and really involve grassroots groups within the village. We have 27 groups here, organizations, who have stepped up and said, we want to do something with this event, with this year-long event, series of events. We actually have more than a handful of other folks who have said, we want to do something, but we really haven't gotten that organized yet for them. And so the list was growing, and it grew by one more today. And it keeps growing, and I'll go to the next slide. So this is a layout. Boy, that's really hard to see. I'm glad I made a copy of this so that I can read it and share with you. But we just started off last Saturday. Kiwanis had their pond hockey program on Saturday. It's going to continue through the end of the year. Pie eating, or not pie eating contest. There's going to be a 4th of July pie. If you are a baker, this is an opportunity to have the official 250th pie. Kathy and the Chamber of Commerce and Blue Sky Videos are going to do 250 minutes of historic podcasts to talk about local historic events. Not all at once, no. In bite-sized pieces. The Women's Club, the Village Audit sticker will utilize our logo. The library has, this is how things grow. The library called today and said, we've got our program together. So they're going to do a virtual program on the Obama Center in June, Artists on the Bluff in June. The Park District is going to do their 5K run. We added today a World Cup watch party on a big screen and a block party in June. I think it's June 11th is the kickoff for the World Cup, and I remember this reading today, maybe the 18th, the U.S. plays Paraguay. So somewhere along that way, they're going to set that up, and we're going to have a big screen party. The farmers market, of course. In the red block are events that will be focused during the 4th of July week. The auto show is coming back. We're planning to have a red, white, and blue theme. So if you've got a red, white, or blue American car, we're going to put it right out here in front and center. Many of you may remember that back maybe 15 or 20 years ago, we had a joint church service between the Grace United Methodist Church and Union Church on the Bluff. And that had continued for, 20, 30 years. We're going to bring that back, and we've asked the community church to join. And so that would be the Sunday before the 4th. So we'll have window decorating downtown. We have a 4th of July decoration contest for homeowners. We have the Navy Band coming in to do a concert. If you remember the Navy Band concert in September, much the same thing, Fireman's Ball and Parade. We have some open slots, and when we get down a little farther, I'll show you how we're going to backfill those. There's a Lincoln portrait by an artist named Travers, and there's a virtual program that the library is going to share on Travers and the Lincoln portrait, a Betsy Ross historical portrait, the Lake Bluff Wiffle Ball Classic. We added that today to our lineup. The Park District is going to bring back their fireworks celebration. And the pastor at the Methodist Church is going to try to put together an interfaith Thanksgiving service that would encompass everyone in the community of all faiths. Potentially Christmas carols on the village green on Christmas Eve. The museum is going to coordinate a series of programs during the year. They may include programs on camp meeting, Chautauqua Railroads, Robert McClory, the orphanage, architecture of Lake Bluff, the fire department, and the Battle of Midway, which would be presented by the commanding officer of the Great Lakes Naval Training Center, who is something of an authority on the Battle of Midway. We want to do a community photo again. A group called Growing Native Habit wants to do a witness tree. They want to find a tree in Lake Bluff that is in a very interesting location, that's very, very old, and then share with us all of the historic context that's occurred in front of that tree over the last several hundred years. It's a really interesting concept. The Garden Club wants to re-landscape the Blue Star Monument that's over here. Lobola is talking about redoing the stairway. If you remember down at the bottom of the road, there used to be a stairway that went right to the beach. Mm-hmm. They want to replace that. And finally, there's a group who wants to get anybody who likes to sing in Lake Bluff together for a community choir concert. And we were chatting about that the other day and said, you know, maybe it's like a do-it-yourself Messiah. We may have more people singing than we do watching, and that's just fine. And so that's kind of the wind-up. And so we'll go to the next slide. So,
And Mark, you also Kathy talked about the community picture. When is that on the agenda?
It's down, yeah, I jumped ahead myself here. Community photo, underneath the programs, like the 5th or 6th row up on the spreadsheet there.
That's probably the coolest thing.
Oh, it is cool.
Where we
It is
get a
cool.
picture of
Yeah, if you haven't seen, go by the museum if you haven't seen that photo. And we're right in front of the window for Village Hall, before the Village Hall was really landscaped the way it is. So you can see the Dewart family there.
Thank you.
So anyways, go to the next slide. I was going to show this when we talked about the pond hockey. So this is our inaugural event last Saturday, and it was cold, but Kiwanis sponsored their pond hockey tournament. They competed for the coveted Golden Shovel Award. But what a great way to begin. And I'll let you jump forward 2 times. There we go. So what was the steering committee is going to do? The steering committee will help all of these programs by co-promoting them. We'll be using a website, Facebook, and Instagram, as well as some mailings and other things to be able to promote all of the events that we have here so that folks in town know what we've got. They can say, I'd like to do this, I'd like to do that, they'd like to do them all. And so that's what we will do as a steering committee from here on out. That's our primary mission, is to help those events be successful. We mentioned before the podcasts that Kathy and the Chamber are going to put together in the History Museum. Those will begin in April and run through July. And we have a really exciting opportunity. One of our steering committee members is on the national board of the Peoria Riverfront Museum. It's a newer museum. It's very unique in that it is multifaceted, everything from technical and STEM through art and culture and things like that. And it's all, they have a planetarium. It's all in one site. Pretty unusual. Well, they've been planning a 250 for a couple of years. And Ken Burns is the curator for their 250th exhibit. He has engaged a fellow by the name of Seth Keller. Seth is a noted historical document expert. Seth is bringing originals of the Declaration of Independence and other historic documents, incredibly important historic documents, to Peoria. And if you want to go, check their website. That program kicks off this coming weekend. We were able to connect with Seth. He is very, very interested in coming to our community and doing a program for students particularly, as well as adults, and on historic documents and U.S. history and that whole context. And he wants to bring original documents with him, which is just it's incredible to me that he's prepared to do that. He has a really strong commitment to kids and to youth. And so that's going to be an important point of emphasis, is to try to embrace this. This is a program that we will coordinate with Lake Forest's 250th as well. And we are trying to figure out how big it's going to be, where we ought to have it. We've had some discussions with local venues, so more to come on that. As I say, there will be a presentation or two to the general public, as well as presentations available to students and kids. Kathy, would you like to talk about McClory?
Yes, I would. We are proposing to build or to work with the Illinois Historical Society on a large marker. We already have two in town working with them. One is at the Dwyer Settlement, and the other one is the Blue Star one. We're proposing a marker to honor Robert McClory. We, of course, have the McClory Bike Path, and yet I would say that majority of people have no clue who Robert McClory was. He came to Lake Bluff in the late 30s, lived on Washington, and then moved over and built a house and lived in for 40 years in the 400 block of East Prospect. He was a Troop 42 Scoutmaster. He was our village attorney. He was elected as a state senator. And then from 1963 to 1983, he was our congressional representative from the 10th District. People used to call him Mr. Republican. And then it was the summer of 1974. He was the second ranking Republican on the House Judiciary Committee. He had been very pro-Nixon. He had been a friend of Nixon, supported it. It was the time of the Watergate hearings. He listened to all of the tapes that they were able to get, and he changed his mind. He put conscience over party, and he decided to vote in favor of impeachment, which persuaded several other Republicans to go along with him. They personally met with President Nixon and said, "We are going to vote to impeach you." As a result, Nixon resigned in August of 1974. But McClory was instrumental in this whole pivotal piece of American history, enough that he and two of the others made the cover of Time magazine. I think he's worthy, and particularly since he was from Lake Bluff, worthy of a marker to represent his contributions not only to Lake Bluff, but to the nation. So what we are proposing, and it could cost about $5,000 for the whole thing to have it done, put in, and hopefully the village would maintain it. We're asking for the village to contribute $1,000. The museum will match that $1,000, and then we will seek other public contributions, and I think we should be able to get those contributions for putting that up. I think it's timely. Thank you very much.
Where would the marker go?
Oh, I'm sorry. The marker will go where we did for the 125, which is the stop off on the bike path there, right there. You know, it would go. There's plenty of room there for that, and I think that would be an ideal spot to put that for the community and other people that are going up and down to be able to see that. Any questions?
I cannot be more thankful to the two of you for your leadership. So I cannot be more thankful to the two of you for doing that. The list Mark presented is absolutely wonderful and impressive to me. You're doing justice to the village of Lake Bluff for what we are, who we are, our community, and our sense of being volunteers. So I thank you very much. Now, we should have a lot of fun, so thank you for that too. But I'm very impressed and I'm very happy.
We all love our town. We know it isn't perfect, but it is our town.
It is our town.
It's not perfect?
What's that?
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
We'll be in touch, and we have two trustees who will be your direct relationship to the village board. I know that Taryn is one volunteer on our board to be working with you, okay? So thank you.
Thank you.
So Jeff, you want to come on up? It's rare do I say we have good news in terms of bids, receiving bids for construction projects, but we, there was a letting recently at IDOT for our Green Bay Road project. I wanted Jeff to share the good news.
Yeah, so the bid came in at a little over $3 million, which is actually good news. It's a little lower than what was estimated. The low bidder is Campanella Construction, who's done projects for us in the past, and we've been very happy with them in the past. So that was all good news last Tuesday. So it's going to be a few weeks that the DOT has to get the contracts back and forth. We should be set for construction in April. Met with Chief Smazinski about some traffic issues that we might have on the side streets, trying to anticipate some issues there. Be talking to you later about some changes in parking and speeds, but yeah, that was our good news for the week. Is a little under estimates. Looks like our shares will be about $750,000 for this year's project. This will be obviously the most impactful construction project I've been a part of here, and hopefully we get all of you people coming to town for our 2026 events around our detour, but we are going to
Better than 2027 when the bridge is out, right?
Yes, yes, but we are going to make a mess this summer on Green Bay Road.
I see the cost is $3,131,000 and some dollars.
Yeah.
What was the original thought of a budget for that?
Our consultants were like 3.25. I had in my head, I think in our budget documents, put a little higher than that, just to be a little more conservative. So when we did the grant agreement, the federal funding agreement, we, I think, allocated $770,000 or as much as needed. But the grant that we have is $2.84 million right now. That could be increased if costs go up, but with this bid, that's slightly under that right now at 2.75 about for the grant. I can't give you exact numbers because they haven't released the actual per unit price list yet. And some of our items are not participating for the water main work, but it looks like we will be, like I said, under what we had budgeted and well within the grant money that we have through the shared.
This is great news altogether, so thank you.
Yeah, and Campanella did some stormwater work in the past in the East Terrace and in the North Terrace as well. Didn't they do Lincoln too, or no?
They did, yes.
Yeah.
And then they've done some water main breaks. We've had more complicated problems. They've been one of the people we've called to come fix it because we know they have the capabilities and their guys have been good to work with. They helped us with the Glen Bridge 2 years ago too, with the pad for the crane to sit on. So we worked well with Campanella.
Been great to work with. So that was excellent news.
And I would like to, Drew and I talked about that a few days ago. What you said to me at that time was, number one, we're under budget. Number two, Campanella is a top builder who has worked in the village. So it is great news for us. Thank you, Jeff.
Do I have a question from?
Mark Dewart, 454 Park Lane. When will the project impact access in the east and west terrace to Green Bay Road? In other words, when will you start tearing things?
They're allowed to start in April. Until we have a pre-construction meeting with them, we won't know exactly when they're going to start. They get April to November, and however they want to fill that time to do the project is it's kind of up to them. But probably sometime in April or early May.
You'll see signs up. There's the minimum signage, but you'll be inundated. The goal is to say enough already. We know.
Yeah.
That's the goal.
You'll be getting a letter.
Yeah.
I assume we're coordinating with the schools since that's still within session.
They help plan this schedule.
Okay.
These are prime concern, actually.
It'll be
Thanks,
easier
Mark.
this year because the bridge will be in.
Right.
The road will generally be passable if need be for the school buses.
Yeah. We talked to the superintendents and we literally asked, when do you want this to happen? So
Great.
Yeah. That's all I have.
Thank you, Drew. Thank you, Jeff. Next on our agenda is our village owners report.
No report tonight.
Thank you. And item 10 is my report, and I do not have a report except that we had the chance to see you presenting at the Lake Bluff, Lake Forest Chamber of Commerce, and it was great.
Thank you. It's a lot of fun, always a lot of fun.
Good updates for the community from our village administrators, both from Lake Bluff and Lake Forest.
We're taking our show on the road. We're gonna be doing a newcomers event pretty soon. I think tickets are selling fast, so.
You guys do have I wasn't there,
It is
sadly,
good.
but you guys do have a charm
good job.
together.
Which we don't normally have, right? Independently, we're duds. Together, it's
Absolutely.
magic. It's magic.
It was about as good a comedy routine as you can expect from government employees.
Had a good thing? I don't know. Right, yeah. Anyway, it is fun.
Again, we're trying to pay for a pipe, so there we go.
That's right. All goes to the same bucket.
Thank you so much. Next, and that was my report, awesome. Next is item 11, acceptance of a correspondence. Correspondence was delivered to the village board in the informational report on January 16th and 23rd. Is there a motion to approve the acceptance of a correspondence?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Thank you very much.
Voice vote.
Is the voice vote all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Thank you. The motion carries. Next, and our only resolution tonight is item 12, and that would be a resolution approving the purchase of network switches with EnterDev LLC. Is there a motion to approve the resolution?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Thank you. EnterDev LLC has served as the village IT services provider for the past 11 years. Through our ongoing joint network management and planning efforts, several network switching devices were identified as having reached or nearing their end of life and are no longer supported by the manufacturer at an acceptable level. The proposed project will replace the village core switching infrastructure with current generation equipment and includes installation, configuration, validation, and documentation. Funding for this network refresh was included in the current fiscal year budget in the amount of $80,000. Fortunately, EnterDev LLC was able to secure a significantly lower cost solution totaling $37,967.17 through the Omnia, O-M-N-I-A, Partners Cooperative Purchasing Program. Procurement through this program satisfies the village competitive purchasing requirements. Staff recommends that the village board approves the proposal in the amount of $37,967.17 and authorize the village administrator to execute an agreement with EnterDev LLC to complete the project as proposed.
Can you, I'm never going to complain about such a cost difference, but I'm just curious, how did we get such a better price?
I may defer to Bettina on
Yeah.
this more so than me. I don't get over my skis too rapidly.
So initially, they priced the product by using Cisco products, which is brand name and may require less management or oversight on their part. And then when they realized that FortiGate could come in with a much lower price, they opted for that package instead.
Great.
So brand name, brand change.
I have a question for you. I don't know that's dangerous. So the one thing I was reading, I actually did read that from top to bottom. You're replacing 3 switches, just normal switches, but you're not replacing your firewall or intrusion detection. So these items are newer. You have a firewall and you have intrusion detection, and then you have your switches behind.
Right.
And these are still, they're still young enough to be considered well supported by their manufacturer.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, that's the answer. The firewall is not being replaced through this project, no.
Okay. I don't have any more questions. Any more questions on the board? All right, it is a roll call. Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Fisher? Trustee Hatch?
Aye.
Trustee Renner?
Aye.
Trustee Ryder?
Aye.
And Trustee Eshelmas?
Aye.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Last is our trustees' report. Do we have any trustee willing to make a report tonight? And moving forward, we do not have an executive session tonight, correct?
Correct.
All right, the last item on our agenda is our adjournment. Could I please have a motion to adjourn this meeting?
Motion to adjourn.
Second. Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? And we're adjourned. Thank you very much. And good night.